Hello, everybody. This is Chevalier, Chevalier Life. And welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Chevalier. Now, today's guest is one of my favorite artists. I know y'all hear me say stuff like that all the time, one of my favorite artists. But this one was a guy that I've been following for many years. His name is Vandell Andrew. He plays locally around Dallas. He plays on the national and international stage also. He's a smooth jazz saxophonist with a sound that's unique like no others. Now, before I jump into this thing, I want to tell you guys this. Tonight's show is sponsored by LLC Cigars. Tonight I am smoking on the director. No, I'm not. I'm not smoking the director. I'm smoking the CEO tonight. The CEO, that's what I'm smoking tonight. This is a great cigar. Special shout out to Candace Ford and LLC Cigars for being our official sponsor of the show tonight. I'm going to show you guys this amazing set that they sent us to support. So a special shout out to LLC Cigars for the amazing cutter and ashtray and gift set of their amazing cigars. Make sure that you guys go follow LLC Cigars, and I thank them for their support. Now, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to have our guy Vandell Andrew coming in with us. Man, I cannot wait to sit down and talk to this brother. For those of you all that don't know his music, man, this is going to be a treat for you. If you love smooth jazz the way I do, then I guarantee that you're going to be blessed by this one. So he's going to join us in a minute. You know, we have our theme song for the Chevalier lifestyle where we smoke the cigar, sip the whiskey, sing to the music, and savor the cuisine. I want to thank Brothers Excuro for producing and writing this amazing theme song for us. So in a minute, we're going to get our guy in here, and we're going to get started with the conversation. Yeah. I'm excited about this one, y'all. Let's see here. Hey, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Man, Mr. Vandell Andrew, man, welcome to Conversations with Chevalier, bro.
Thank you.
Man, look, I've been a big fan of yours, and I've been tagging you in the cigar track of the day for
Oh, wow.
a couple years now. And man, I first became acquainted with your music. I was chilling out over my brother-in-law's house, right, out in Rockwall, and he got satellite radio on. We sitting back, and I'm thinking it's a Christmas song, it's Chill AF with Raheem Devon, and I'm sitting back. I'm thinking it's a Christmas song because he hit it,
Joyful
made
noise.
noise,
He says, make
make
a
a
joyful
joyful
noise.
noise. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, that's a new switch on Christmas. And
Yeah.
then he kept singing. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It's a joyful noise, but it ain't about Christmas. But an amazing song all the same. And it was my introductory to you and your music, man. And I started kind of going through your catalog that day. And I came across a song that you did with Britt Frappier. Amazing song, man, that just took me to a whole nother place every time I hear the collaboration with your music and her voice, man. It was just
Hmm.
amazing, brother. So I just had to tell you that because I don't want to fanboy out on you, but I'm kind of fanboyed out having you
Man,
on the show, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Definitely.
So let's start it out, man. I'm not gonna keep you long, but for those that don't know you, introduce yourself, where you're from, man, and tell us what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Vandell Andrew. Originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. Moved to Texas in 2005 after the crazy storm called Hurricane Katrina. And it's kind of that Texas is pretty much where I started my career. I was 18 years old when I moved here.
Wow.
And for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a saxophonist. I've been playing since I was a teenager. Um, and it's always been something I've loved to do. Didn't necessarily think it would be a career until I'm looking around like, wow, this is what I like to do. And, people are willing to pay me to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So man, when did you know? early on, like you say, you started at 18, but when did you know that, hey, music is my life and this is where I'm going? I'm sold out and locked in. When did you know that, bro?
When I found it surrounding me, and I found it putting me in places that I've never been before, and I was meeting people that I've never been before. I mean, meeting people that I've never thought I would meet through music, and
Wow.
I realized that it was already my lifestyle. And this is early. This is 16, 15, 16 years old. I had started playing at church, so I was getting a little church check, on
Oh,
Sundays
yeah.
too. And all the biggest thing is I noticed that I'm able to assist people in healing, whatever that is, and I'm able to benefit from that. You know what I mean? It's an
Yeah.
exchange. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, man. It's funny because you're from New Orleans. And let's just keep it a book. Some of the baddest musicians come out of New Orleans. There's yourself. I
yeah,
believe PJ Morton is one of those guys. Of course, those of us that grew up in church, we know who his dad is. But,
right, right.
for him to come around full circle behind that and add a gospel kind of flair to I don't know if I want to call it R&B or neo soul or neo R&B. I don't know what he calls it, but
Uh,
just about everybody that I love out of New Orleans, taking the bangers, amazing
yeah,
groups of all different types of genres, man. But at the end of the day, you guys bring something special to what I like to call simply cigar music, man. It's the Chevalier sound. And, when I play these tracks every day, it's just stuff that I get up and whatever come to mind, I play it.
hmm
For 90 seconds, I play it, man. And like I said, your songs have been at the beginning of my journey, man. That, what is it, 30 album? Everything from Just Once, all of them, man. All of them have been cigar tracks of the day
I
at
love
one
it.
time or another, bro.
I appreciate it so much, man. I really do. That album was, that was the one that was kind of like the pivotal album. I named it 30 simply because I turned 30 at the time, and what comes with turning 30, you think you're grown at the time too,
Yeah, thank you.
And it's also, it's like coming of age, this is the grown
Yeah.
version of me. So,
Yeah, man. I remember that. I turned 30. I just come to Dallas and got out of the Marine Corps, man. And, I was just really getting into jazz music. I had been over in Okinawa and had this white guy as my roommate. And, man, he started playing David Benoit. And I was like, man, the piano sounds familiar, but it sounds good. And I kind of got into jazz, and then I messed around and heard some Dave Cobbs, man, and they had me from there. They had me from there, and I quickly became to learn that you know jazz is the roots. R&B and jazz are really one, and they're kind of the root of all of our music, going back to our gospel roots, or not in the black community, man. And so I started to be able to like feel certain notes that kind of resonate with me, man, and they just kind of drive me and they drive my mood. And that's how I came up with the cigar track of the day and the thoughts of a classic man.
I see.
And that's kind of what shaped me music. The music shaped those things that I do. What shaped you, man? What shaped you into becoming the type of artist that you become?
It's so much. I always said, I was blessed to be able to grow up in a place with so much diversity that I was, you know, growing up, I would, we may call where I lived the hood, or it was an all black neighborhood. So, and what goes on in some neighborhoods is what was going on, right? But when I went to school, my teachers, and I'm talking early in like in middle school, in fifth
Mhm.
grade, all of our teachers were from the East Coast. They were doing, I guess, like an externship. They were students at St. Michael's College from all the way from Vermont.
Wow.
So so I'm definitely seeing some different, sides of life just through my teachers, and they were young, they were in their early 20s.
Hmm.
And able to learn about art in every fashion, from in every every medium of art, and to gain an appreciation for it, and people around me appreciated it at the same age. um Fast forward to when I moved to Texas, the culture was a little different. when it comes to art. So
Right.
I always say I was blessed to be able to grow up in a very, very diverse city. Um, and then my parents, they had their own thing that they added to the whole pot. Um, my mom listened to Anita Baker. She listened to Anita Baker is pretty much like her favorite. I remember
Well,
that.
that's I think that's every black woman of that time.
Probably so. Probably so.
Yeah.
But I remember going to the CD collection and seeing like In Vogue. I found the Kenny G CD. I think I discovered Kenny G through my mom's CD collection.
Oh wow.
And my dad, he was listening to Tupac, so I got
Right.
the Tupac stuff from him, and my grandfather was all Al Green, and I'm just speaking musically. There's so many other influences, but and then personally, me as a kid, I found my own music that I want to listen to. I listened to Cash Money, so jazz was a thing that was like it was. I heard it all the time because I'm in New Orleans, so if I go to a funeral, if anywhere I go is a second line, just a random second line in the
Right.
neighborhood, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it everywhere. So that was already kind of, it was already around me.
Yeah.
Um, Later on, as I, started to develop my playing, I discovered R&B. So R&B was kind of later for me. It was hip
Okay.
hop, jazz, and then R&B actually. And Erica Badu was the one that the Mama's Gun album, to be
Oh, okay.
specific,
Yeah.
is the album that just made the light bulb go off for me, and I got more interested in listening to R&B because before that I was like, man, I don't hear nobody sing. I'm listening to rap music.
Oh yeah. What was your favorite song on Mama's Gun?
Uh, uh, is it called Green Eyes? It's a song that it's no, Orange Moon. It's called Orange Moon.
Orange Moon. Okay.
Yeah, Orange Moon.
Okay. Yeah, she was out there a little bit on that album.
Oh, I loved it.
She was testing creativity on
I
that
could
album.
tell.
Yeah, she was testing creativity on that album. A lot of those songs didn't really just hit the mainstream like some of her other albums, but you could definitely, if you're a lover of music, you could see that in everything, in every word, man, and the way those songs were arranged. You could see it. You could
Mm.
see it and feel it in the song. Hey, what do you do to keep that passion going, man, when times get tough? Because I gotta imagine there's some times when you just ain't feeling it today. I come out and check you out at Thursday nights on Chamberlain's here in
Mhm.
Dallas. I've been doing that, last 2 or 3 weeks or so. And man, some of them days, I remember when I saw you, what was it, last week when I came in there. You didn't look like you felt too good, but you kept on playing anyway, man.
Yeah,
How do you,
yeah. I
how do you
mean,
do that? How do you do that?
so I realized what that was. That was just straight up lack of sleep. But I try to go live life outside of music and live life. I'm just saying, literally, just go take a walk. I found the trail out in Plano that I love, so I try to go do that a couple times a week, where I just walk the trail. And I may not listen to music. I may listen to a podcast or something like that, or I may not even have anything in my ears. But just going outside and maybe interacting with people a little bit. I don't need too much of that all the time, but
Yeah.
because I get that at
You
the
get it
gigs,
all
you
the
know.
time. You get it overload, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I get that already,
overload.
but yeah, just I just go live life. My son, he's 12. He's like sports are his world right now. So I'm doing soccer with him. He constantly wants me to bring him to the field to practice. Stuff like that, just to be physical. Honestly, just to get active.
Yeah, yeah.
And whatever it may be him just doing really well, at the field may inspire me to go
Do
back and
you?
work on music. It's weird how it works, but
It's funny you say that, man, because I know whenever I do these conversations, it's just that it's a conversation. I don't always have a lot of questions, but when the people that I invite onto the show are people that I just really want to talk to. And I remember, listening to a couple of your albums and going, man, this dude is all over the place. Like the styles, it's all the same style, but you tapping into a little bit of everything on every song. Like I said with Chill AF, one of the unique things about it, when you hear Raheem Devon sing his parts in the song sounds like an R&B song, But if you just because it's the remix, but if you just listen to Chill AF without any vocals on it, man, it gives it a whole different sound, a whole different feel to the song. Do you use like your personal experiences to tap into that? Or is it something that just kind of comes organically for you, man, when you create?
So it's both, I would say. It's organic, but it is because of my experiences, is what I realized. I realized I would hear older people say stuff like, you ain't been through enough to play that, to play the blues or whatever. You ain't been through enough.
You ain't
And
had your heart broken up.
yeah, and at this point, I've been through a little bit,
Uh,
so I know where it's coming from. And one thing I always try to remind myself, in fact, I don't even, I will delete anything that doesn't come from the heart. Anything, because I
wow.
believe that what comes from the heart reaches the heart. If it doesn't come from there, if it's not from a genuine place, it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's just we're wasting our time. You wasting your time listening. I'm wasting my time making it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. That's really deep. Anything that you play or do, when it comes to the heart, it's original. And that
Mm,
that that holds true in everything, whether it's sports like your son does, or even me with just my cigar lifestyle deal that I do every day. Man, that's my way of journaling in the morning. Whatever I'm writing, I tell people, they ask me all the time, how do you come up with this stuff? It's truly what I'm thinking about when I first wake up in the morning. And
mm,
3, 4 in the morning, I'm driving to Arlington in my truck. I work for General Motors, right? And so sometimes when I'm driving, man, I will literally pull my truck over and just start, because I rarely ride with the radio on. I got the sunroof back, and just whatever I'm thinking, that's my moment. Every morning from the time I get up, man, to about the time I get to work, that I guess you could say it's like my meditation. It's
mm.
my way of, just kind of clearing my mind and processing what it is for the day. And over time, like you, man, when I feel it, I say it. Today, I wrote one and I was like, fuck it, it's Monday. Fuck it, it's Monday. Every brother on here needs to speak life into themselves today. And I wrote a little quote about that. Don't know where it came from, but I was sitting at Beltline and 30 with my hazard lights on. And I just thought, bam, I popped it out because it was what I was thinking. So that creativity comes from the heart, like you said, man. Let me ask you this though. Every journey though comes with challenges, man. How do you deal with the challenges that come about, with what you do and juggling that with your life? Because you got a son in sports. I got 4 of them in sports. I know how it is. How do you juggle that and still remain creative?
Naps. I have to take naps. I think that's it, you know.
I thought I was the only one.
Nah, man. Hey, I'm sometimes when we pull up to the soccer field when he just wants to practice, I'll tell
Mhm.
him to go warm up and I'll take a 15-minute nap. 15, 20-minute nap and set my timer to wake me up. All right, let's go.
I know that's right, man. Have you learned anything though, other than that, when you think about those challenges, man, and how they kind of shape you as an individual? Have you learned anything anything in particular that you hold on to? That kind of drives your passion, or either helps you just to cope with the demanding world that you have to deal with as an artist and a parent.
I always remember it's like there's always that thing that we want to desire on the other side of hard work, perseverance, whatever that is in the middle, right? So, I think I always try to approach it as simple as possible, whatever the situation is.
Hmm.
What's step one to get to, that point?
Hmm.
And it's through, having a career where I doing this and now I'm doing this. And so I was
Right.
able to see like the growth just from that. I look at everything that way now. And you know what? My mom didn't let us say the word can't growing up. I was not allowed to say it. Like in the most simple, hey, go get the car keys. I can't. What'd you say? So I couldn't say can. It was not in my vocabulary growing up. I
Right.
didn't realize it until now that I don't believe there's anything that's impossible for me. It just
Wow.
takes. It's just gonna take a little work. It might take a little
Yeah.
time,
A
but
little change of point of view, a little change of focus, I think.
Yes, yes, system. It just has to be a system in place, right?
Right, right. Well, they say, the best thing for kids growing up is structure. They always say kids crave structure. They don't even know that they crave it, but
Hmm.
they thrive on. You see a lot of kids that grow up with a lot of structure, not necessarily as it relates to discipline, but just with habits. They seem to thrive more because they're used to being busy and they're used to, their thought processes change. They're able to compartmentalize things a lot better because they know that they have certain responsibilities or certain things that they need to do. I found that with my kids, man, that,
Hmm.
the boys, I got 4 boys and a daughter, and we've always kept them busy, just kept them busy. I'm not a college educated guy or win the Marine Corps. I'm just a regular guy. But there's certain things you come to realize. My parents did the same thing. From the time I was about the 5th grade, I was busy, man. Like, I had jobs and shit.
Uh-huh.
My dad, hey, go down there. That lady down the street need her grass cut. Go down there and charge her $5. I was like, man, this 1976. I can't get $10. No, charge her $5 and cut her grass, and you better do a good job for the
Yeah.
$5. And my dad didn't even live with us. He used to come over and tell me to do stuff like that. But it was that structure, man, that kind of drove me, and it made me realize that certain things that are important to me, like music, and appreciating music and styles and cigars, appreciating that and understanding how those two things can come together. I
Hmm.
want to ask you this. When you think about, and I'm moving right into this because this is the part I've been wanting to talk to you about, the collaborations, bro. How do you decide who you want to collaborate with? How do you, even before you decide if you want to do it, how do you identify that you have something in common with somebody, or they may be able to bring your vision or your music to life? What does that process look like for you?
I again, man, I keep it super simple. I never reach out. Well, I mean, for the most part, I haven't reached out to anyone for a collaboration. These
Really?
are things that just kind of happen. So I'll talk about the Brit Frappier. Um, I am her dad, her stepdad, Lou Lang, who is man, he passed end of last year, was man, one of my favorite people and amazing producers. He produced pretty much the whole 30 album. And he suggested that. And I always think I have to hear it. If I hear it and I don't feel it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to myself. I'm not gonna lie to them because again, it's not from the heart. Um, so it's that simple. The song was recorded. He sent me her vocals. After I've recorded some parts, I don't remember exactly the order. Maybe in vocals first or sax first. I don't remember, but he sent me the actual track and I loved it. And Lou kind of made it happen. As far as other collaborations, it's been kind of the same. I may meet somebody and you know how it goes, man, we got to do something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the conversation. Who knows if it's actually going to ever happen? But with the people who I've collaborated with, they actually followed up and sent me a song and I loved it. Or vice versa. I sent them a song and they were like, yeah, let's do this. So, but it
Wow.
always starts with the relationship. I try not to, like, I don't really have too much of a wish list as far as like artists that I would love to work with.
You must have knew I
Um,
was gonna ask you that next.
it's
I
not,
mean,
it's not,
must have
it's
knew.
not too big. I mean, Alex Isley, I really, really, really love her vocals.
Bro, that's
Love her
my number
vocals.
one. That's my number
Really?
one for you. That's my number. So I was gonna ask you later. Then I was gonna say, let me tell you my top three. Alex Isley was my number one for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I would say that she's a part of like this wish list thing, but I don't know. I guess I try not to even think about it that way, and I think about it like what will happen, you know? But
Yeah,
there's another artist that I listen to usually in the evenings. Her name is Sabrina Claudio. I love her music,
love her,
real
love her.
mellow, and she kind of reminds me of what I do on the saxophone in a way, you know.
Yeah, she's a bad girl, man, and she's another one of those artists, man. She's like a chameleon with her music, cause she can hit you from so many different ways, man. I think my favorite song by her is "Sunshine." think it's an
Mm.
ode to her kid or little boy. I think I don't know, but Sunshine, you make me come alive. But the song is like a cross between like a Isley Brother groove and a Sade groove for me.
Uh-huh.
I can sit
Uh-huh.
out, man. I can sit out here and listen to that on my patio, all night. That's just a cold song. But I think you've worked with some of my heroes. I had Philip Doc Martin on the show some
Man.
months back, man. And that's my favorite jazz dentist, man. This motherfucker
Yeah,
ice cold with it, man. He came on the
he
show
is.
and he showed out, man. Like I couldn't believe I had so much fun talking to this dude, man. He is amazing. What was that like? That's one of my heroes right there.
So that's kind of how that happened as well. I've been listening to Philip for years, and I'm talking about like listening like very closely, like taking a lot of stuff, for my
Mm-hmm.
own. And we had been friends on social media for a while, and one day he sent me a message and he told me, "Man, Chile F is my shit," and I play it in my practice like every single day. And that's kind of how the whole relationship started, where we were communicating. And again, Lou Lang, I talked to him about doing Golden Lady because we played it at a festival. What year was this? This is like 2014, Catalina
Mm-hmm.
Island Jazz Tracks
Oh, wow.
Festival. I put Golden Lady on the set list, and Lou plays keyboards. He had never
Uh,
heard the song before.
he
So
never heard
after
Golden
that
Lady
gig,
before,
he had
or
never
your
heard the song before. No, he had never heard Golden Lady before.
Stevie Wonder Golden Lady.
Yeah, he never heard it. I meet so many people that tell me that. They say, I've never heard Golden Lady. I heard a lot of Stevie. I haven't heard Golden Lady.
Wow.
But yeah, so he got inspired to cover the song, and he made this track and he sent it to me like, hey, check this out. So that's how that started off. And I had kind of been talking to Philip around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just asked him, hey, would you want to do this song with me? And guess what he said? I never heard this song before. He said the same thing.
What?
Yeah. But he agreed to do it. I was super happy that he did. And yeah, it is what it is now.
Man, hold the phone. Hold on. I had to cue that up. I can't imagine somebody not knowing this song. So for those of y'all that are just joining me, this is Conversations with Chevalier with my guest, the incomparable Vandell Andrew, and we're talking about Golden Lady by Stevie Wonder. And this is a little bit of his rendition. Y'all vibe with us for a second and check it out. Yeah, you showed out on this one, man. That make me want to sing, man. So this is Golden Lady. This is Vandell Andrews' version of it. If you haven't heard it, can't imagine y'all not hearing it. Go follow him on Instagram. Get it on Apple Music, all the platforms. Yeah, man, you killed that one, man. You killed that one.
Thanks, man.
I honestly cannot imagine, bro, anybody not knowing that song. But I guess, like you said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
What were some of your other collaborations that you really liked there? Because you've done quite a few.
So still my favorite project to this day is called Pluto. And it's with my good friend Nady. He's based in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I met Nady probably 20, I don't even know, a long time ago in an Uber. And it was him and his sister sitting in the Uber as well. And she's like, my brother does music, and to anybody who like is a musician, when like your sibling or friend family like tells other people, it's like, come on, man, you have to. So that was kind of his reaction.
Uh-huh.
But we still exchanged information. And when he got back to LA, he sent me some tracks, and I was crazy impressed. And it turned into me, flying out to LA to record this project with him called Pluto. It's I guess you would consider this like more on the lo-fi
Okay.
side of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't even explain the sound. It was just the most experimental, unique project I've done to date.
Wow. You know what I want to ask you, and this just came to mind when you were talking, giving an analogy about being in the cab. It's almost like waiting for them to pull out their demo tape. But man, I've noticed lately, I've been checking out a lot of these, I call them artists from across the pond, like Misha Beats, Misha, and the guy
I don't know if
Cartoon.
I know about cartoons.
Man, this dude Misha, his name is Misha. Um, he does a lot of stuff with Deborah Bond.
Ah,
Um,
okay,
um, and then there's Cartoons, who is that's just a whole nother thing. But
he's
Misha
killing it.
doesn't. He does a lot with Kiefer. He does
Yeah,
a
I know
lot
about
with
Kiefer as
Kiefer.
well.
But
Yeah.
a lot of these guys, man, what do you think about the sound they putting out? I think it's amazing, man. Kiefer is killing the game. Tom Mish killing the game.
Yes.
And then let me see. You got there's a local girl, a girl from the U.S., Alyssa. She's like a producer, and she put out a song,
Oh, the
Carpentier.
bass player. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She put out a
Yeah.
jam, man, with Ray Khalil last summer. And is it worth it? Man, let me tell you, that was
Oh,
my
yeah.
anthem all last summer, bro. And now I'm seeing all of these groups are kind of coming together with people across from overseas. You got there's this girl Vula, black girl that's really cold out of London, man. I'm starting to hear a lot of this music from over there. I'm about to start tagging you in some of those. But man,
Yeah.
they putting out something. They going almost back to a jazzy Motown vibe, man. These people are doing that's killing me. And then I'm seeing, this guy Misha. He's got stuff with it's Kiefer, and I want to say there's a drummer out in L.A. Um, I can't think his name. I think it's Nate something, but this
Smith.
drummer's really cold. Yeah, that's it. Nate
Nate Smith.
Smith. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, they've done some stuff together, man, that I've been just kind of like getting on and like losing my mind over it because it's a different sound, brother.
Yeah.
But when you look at your sound, I just gotta ask you this: do you classify yourself as a smooth jazz artist, or are you something different?
Something different. I,
Yeah,
you know, I, I really don't like the classifications, but I understand that everything has to
yeah,
have a name and a title because that's how you identify. But no, the smooth jazz, I think is the best way to describe it to somebody who hasn't heard it already. It's the closest thing that I think, but it's so much more.
yeah.
Um, because it comes out that way, it comes out smooth jazz, but like people don't know, like before I played the saxophone, I was making beats. So just once, for example, was a beat I made, at like 3 a.m.
Wow.
And it was just that was there's things that happen sometimes that you feel like it had to be magic. It had to be magic from God, however you want to, label it. But it was something that was like not inside your body or something. I don't know, but that was what
Yeah,
just once was. It was just a beat I made, and I called some friends to play on it to replace, my bass line and my, my fake guitar that I put on there, and that kind of helped it come alive. But yeah, that's just how it happens.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That's another one of my favorites by you, man. That's a bad song, boy. That's a bad song,
Thank you.
man. You kill it on that. But I tell you the one to get me going, that damn shrimp and grits.
Oh wow, I forgot about that
Shrimp
one.
and, shrimp and
Dang.
grits, man. Like shrimp and grits is I don't even know how to characterize shrimp and grits, but it's just a different sound. And a lot of times when I'm sitting out here, I got this patio and another one over here on the other side. I sit out there and smoke a lot. And when I'm sitting out there, man, I turn the surround sound on in the backyard, and I'm sitting out there. Something about shrimp and grits make it happen, bro. It sets the perfect vibe. For me, it's probably the perfect vibe for just about any mood or any situation I'm in. I don't know
Wow.
what it is about that song, man. I love that
Thank you.
song. And you got some others that I kind of really vibe to, but that's one of the ones I think outside of Chill AF and uh your jam with Britt Frappier that really gets me where I want to be. That it
Mhm.
kind of gets me there mentally, man. But Chill AF, I listened to that one. I was just like Philip Doc Martin. I listened to that one. I used to listen to it every morning on my commute. And then I was like, I gotta get some more music because I be want to play this bad fellas the cigar track of the day 3 days a week. People start. I did it a couple of times. People was like, "You got something else?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got something else." So it was
It
it was
happens to
pretty
be
good.
a track of the day again.
Yeah. Hey, look, I tell them it's my thing. It's what I'm feeling. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Now, as an independent artist, man, what has been your biggest challenge? Getting your music out there. What has been some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome?
Um, Obstacles with being an independent artist. A lot of times it's the simple just belief in that what you're doing, or that this is a real thing, or like you actually the music is good, and because anybody could be an independent artist,
Right, right,
technically, right? I mean, anybody could just say I'm an independent artist and put out music, right? It doesn't mean it's good.
right.
um so there's a lot of proving still to this day. And not now, I'm not proven, but something has to be proven to people. The great thing is, though, as an independent artist, is just about me making connections with like-minded people, fans, and I can do that without a label. I can do that at the grocery store. I can do that I can do that at my when I go to pick my son up from school early. Sometimes, like, I'm getting a haircut, he's getting a haircut during the
Mhm.
week or something. The lady at the front office, she's a fan, you know. So that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can make fans anyways. It's like it's just an open playground. But yes, you don't have you don't have you have the obstacles. You don't have the resources that a major label may have.
Mhm.
But the paradigm has changed so much that there's almost no difference. It's just this big company who has all of these people for these departments versus this one person. But we're all doing the same thing. You know, the major label artists are getting told that they need to create content too. You know.
Well, you know what? They pay all this big money to these A&R people, and then you got independent artists. Y'all saving a lot of money. Just the work is
Yes.
a little more harder, but the reward is greater, in my opinion.
Yes.
You get to keep. And let's just talk about it like it is. It's important that you get to keep as much of your money and as much control over your music and your creativity as you can. And I think that and you tell me if you agree, I think social media plays a big part in that. There are a lot of artists out there. I just called a girl the other day, Danny Offline, that I had never heard of, and I was riding to work and I looked at Instagram and she had the little 30-second blurb of this song Angel, and I played it, and as soon as I got to work, I was getting ready to post my cigar track of the day. I deleted it and made that one my cigar track of the day. And
Perfect.
because
Nice.
it was something that took me back to like your mom, Anita Baker, like a newer version of Anita Baker, man. And she reminded me of everything from Anita Baker to um, who would I think? Somebody new. I can't think of this girl's name right now, man. Old age is catching me. It'll probably hit me in a little while. But she has a song called Photograph, man. And she's kind of neo soul, kind of came out around the time Eric Roberson. I for the life of me I can't think of her name now, but she's a pretty sharp lady, man. And those are the kind of people that I'm looking for, the kind of music that I'm looking for when I'm looking for music, man. Just something that's fresh and new that kind of grabs you as soon as you hear it. And that's what happened to me with you, bro.
Oh man,
That's
love
what
to hear
happened.
that.
And then I came out one day. I broke my leg last year, so I was on crutches. My wife said, because my wife doesn't like smooth jazz at all. And I'm gonna tell you something. It wasn't until there's Marion Meadows. Marion Meadows has a song out called Suede that I've been playing since 2005. Still, I play it probably 2, 3 times a week. She heard that and she was like, okay, songs with no words. And then I brought her to Sambuca one night. No, Sandaga. We were at Sandaga a couple years ago, and you were playing live outside on the patio. And
Mm.
I didn't know that you were there. We just went on a Thursday night, and you were playing live. You had a whole band set up that night, and you were playing your music. She was like, that ain't the kind of smooth. That ain't Kenny G. That ain't, you know. I was like, no, that's a
Yeah.
little different. That's Vandell Andrew. I started to walk up to you then. I wasn't doing my show. So I started to walk up to
Uh,
you then and say, hey, man, I'm about to start doing this show, and I'd sure be honored to have you on the show. I was scared, though, bro. I
nah,
was
man.
scared. Hey, look, I tell people all the time, I be scared, and I be with all these cigar people. Yeah, I see my wife in the comments, love his music, stuff about you. But I see
Thank you.
people all the time, man, and I be scared to talk to them, bro.
Just because you don't know the reaction you're gonna get.
Man, I had about 3 old fashions before I walked up on you in Chamberlain's that night. I told my wife, man, let me give you about 3 of these old fashions and and go over here and talk to him. The worst
He
he could
said
do
he's
is
not
say no.
scared of nothing.
Yeah, Mimi. Yeah, she say that, but yeah, I'm scared, man. They say I'm not scared. I be nervous, man, because just like you know, you said when you were younger, like your parents taught you not to say I can't, and then I found myself not saying I can't, but you almost question yourself, am I ready?
Oh
You know,
yeah.
now that I can't, it's just like, am I ready? You know, and so the first time I wanted to ask you was a couple years ago, and I said, I ain't ready, man. I ain't perfected my show yet. Can't bring him on the show until I got it right. And I've had other people like PJ Spraggins, and there's another
Oh yeah.
independent artist that I like, Big Mike Hart, that plays for Boney James. They
Yeah,
re,
love Mike.
they
I just saw
actually,
him like a couple weeks ago.
man, he a bad dude, man. When he put out that song Cigar Lounge with Boney, they debuted it on my show 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
They debuted it on the show, man, and it was cool. The girl that said I'm not scared, she made the connection. She's really good friends with him.
Oh,
And
cool.
she said, you got to check out my homeboy, man, from California. And I checked him out, brother, and it was amazing. So that made it a little easier for me to do it. But look, I had to like go talk myself to and drink a couple old fashions before I rolled up on
Well, that means you care, man. So I appreciate you.
Well, you got to respect people's space, man, and their creativity. You know, for me, you were in there working, and we knew you were going to be there. But I told my wife we got to go check out Vandell Andrew at Chamberlain's. And for those of y'all that are watching in Dallas, every Thursday night you can catch Vandell at Chamberlain's at 7 p.m. Go in there, order a steak, you know, have your old fashioned, light up a good cigar, and sit down and enjoy his vibe, man. Hey, and listen to Golden Lady. He does that one in that set.
Yep.
Y'all, those of y'all that don't know, listen to Golden Lake. But let's get back to it, man. What has been some of the successes that you've had, or you feel your greatest accomplishments as it relates to being an independent artist?
Those things, they change as you hit those notches, I feel. In the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, the very first song that I released to like to do like a radio smooth jazz radio campaign, it was called Let's Ride. That song, I was just happy if it got some radio play, but the song went number one on Billboard, stayed there for 5 weeks, and at the end of that year, it was nominated for Best Contemporary Jazz Performance, at the Soul Train Awards. So at the time, that was amazing. Now I feel like being able to have an idea and complete it and for it to sound the way it sounded in my head is the biggest accomplishment now. And we recorded a project called 214 earlier this year, released it on Valentine's Day, and it literally stemmed from an idea of us we usually do a Valentine's Day concert every single year, and the band knows that. This
Mm-hmm.
year, I decided I wanted to do something different. I think I wanted to be a regular person too, and I wanted to take my wife out to dinner instead of be playing for other people, you know. So I called a couple of a couple of band members and told them about the idea. They were all down to do it. So then I do the group text. Everybody down, everybody's down. And then now I start thinking about the music and like what songs I would want to do, new songs, covers, whatever. And the plan was to rehearse with the band twice, and I would book a studio session. We would all go in the old school way and create this album the old because nobody hardly does that anymore. People are sending emails and sending files and going back and
Right.
forth and overdubbing. So this album is no overdubs. There's no what you hear is what was recorded at the time. There's no
Wow.
overdubs. There's no additions or anything. And from that man, it's just been my most proud project because of that.
Wow, man. That's something. 214, huh?
Mhm.
All right. I gotta get that. I gotta get that one. That one ain't on my radar.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
you got to get that definitely.
I gotta get that one. Hey, don't worry. I'm gonna make it happen. When we finish the show tonight, I'll be like 214. I'm getting all of it.
Let
And
me know
and
what
I
you think,
take that
man.
you talking about Dallas. That brings you into
Well, it
being
was
here in
kind of
Dallas.
both. It was
Mhm.
both. It was because we released it on Valentine's Day, which is 2/14. But also, yeah, it's like full circle. I'm from New Orleans, but I've created something. I've created, like I said, I've pretty much created my career, started my career in Dallas, and I met so many amazing musicians in Dallas.
Wow. Wow. What is your preference as far as like the type of event you do? What is your preference? Do you like doing the small, intimate things like Chamberlain's, or do you like? I've seen you out in the Colony at Grandscape. I saw you at Grandscape, and I thought that was really cool. You did a lot of the covers, so you kept it with stuff that it looked like you kept it with stuff that everybody because it's such a diverse crowd and
Hmm.
stuff. But the show was amazing, man. What do you like more? Do you like to do the intimate things or the bigger things?
The intimate,
Intimate, is it more
yes, definitely,
rewarding?
definitely more rewarding. I'm responsible for a little bit more. The bigger the crowd gets. So, because you can't put 5,000 people to sleep. It's like the worst thing. But if it's 30 people, it's like, oh, that's all good. We just chilling, like you said,
Yeah,
getting the steak,
yeah.
drinking our old fashioned and smoking our cigars. So I can kind of go into like at Chamberlain's sometimes, I may go into some deeper cuts that I don't really play all the
Uh-huh.
time because I can. I'm sitting there I'm sitting down playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you got
So
look.
I
I
prefer
got
that.
a video with the waiter keeps walking by. But I was sitting there with my
Right,
brother
right.
last week. The waiter walked by, and then he walks up to me while I'm filming. Is your old fashioned okay? And it's great when you get
In the
out there, like,
video.
man, get out the way. Yeah, I got the video where he walks up and say, "Hey, is your old fashioned okay?" It's great, man. I'm recording. I'm recording. So it was funny, man. But I like that. One of the things that I admire about when you do those sets, and I've seen it a couple of times, after the set is over, you always take a couple minutes to engage with the audience a little bit and just kind of talk. I saw that when we were in there. There's a lot of guys from one of the big college fraternities that were in there, and they were like, I was with my brother, and he was from Houston. He had never heard of you, and he was like, "Man, who is this guy? Who is this guy?" So I recorded you and I sent it to him. Man, he told me the other day, man, I downloaded like almost all his music. I said, "Hey, man,
Oh, that's what's up.
he got some cold music, man." He said it's really kind of inspirational. He said he really is because you're different. And I heard you say, like you said, your mom said there's no, I can't, that word you don't use. Obviously, you don't, man, because you seem to stretch the limits in so many different directions with your music, man. And you got songs. I could sit here and call off songs like a groupie all day that hit me a different way, when you play them, man. And the reason like I said, I do this show, I like to talk to the artists too, because man, in the cigar lounge, it's all about the moment. It's not just the cigar. It's creating that vibe, man, and being able to sit back and really relax. when the guys sit back and they cross their legs, man, and you put on something smooth, and you're relaxing. Hey, it takes you to a place. Cigars aren't meant to enjoy fast. They're meant to savor moments, man. And so your music seems to be the perfect accompaniment for that, man. And it's been a blessing to me, brother. That's why I had to have you on the show. I wanted people to get an opportunity to know who you are. So let me ask you this. A year from now, where would you like to see Vandell Andrew?
A year from now. Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for what 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 I have at the just to this date.
Hmm.
It's just like being around still, and not that I don't expect to be, but I think that's a big thing, with artists because there's a lot of artists that started when I did that, but they're not here anymore. Um, So, I mean, just thriving in what I desire to do, man. I just want to. There's so much. There's already over 200 songs that I've released, and there's so many ideas that I haven't even tapped into yet that I
Wow.
want to. I have albums that I've recorded that I haven't released, um, just because it's certain concepts that I feel okay. Let's make a little bit more sense before I put it out to the world.
Wow.
And then sometimes I don't care to filter things and I just put it out and with no explanation. But yeah, there's so much, man. During the pandemic, I discovered ambient music
Hmm.
and our ambient sounds, I guess you could say. And it goes deep. I mean, from white noise to rain sounds to the ocean to kind of more avant-garde
Hmm.
white noise, where
Yeah.
to some people it sounds like noise, and through that it's just gotten me closer to wanting to make music that sounds more like nature. And I've been doing it, but it hasn't been something that I've released to the world yet
You gotta
because
let it go, man. You gotta bring that on out, bro.
I have a couple albums called XL. That's kind of what
Uh-huh.
that vibe was, but this was the
Okay.
very beginning of the idea.
Wow. Wow. I'm trying to kind of conceptualize that, man, and what that would sound like as you blowing your horn, or is it more when you see that, is it more the horn being the focal point, or is it more of it being an accompaniment to different sounds, um, shit, just wind blowing, and
Yeah,
find
I use the horn. I use it a lot. So I
Mhm.
use it as um accompaniment as well as the main voice.
Yeah, I'm like, man, hey, if you do it, you know, hit me up, let me know so when you put it
I
out. I want to be
mean,
already ready to put it out.
I have, like I said, I have a I don't remember how many songs. It's probably 10 songs right now. I have a full
Wow.
project. It's called Bloom. Man, I've never even said this publicly. But yeah, it's a project called Bloom, and it's exactly that. It's a lot of sax textures, where it's like the accompaniment
Hmm.
and the sax is playing the lead. Um, and another reason why I'm kind of taking my time with it is because I'm playing bass, and that's a new instrument for me. I picked it up like 5 months ago.
Really?
So yeah, so and once again, I wanted it to be only instruments that I'm playing. No, I'm not calling none of my friends to play on it, and I'm not using any samples. I'm not even using no, I'm not really using drum samples. I mean, there's snaps, claps, you know, tambourines, just
Hmm.
but it sounds like we're outside. Is what I'm trying to say though. It sounds like we're
Wow.
outside.
See, that's what I'm talking about when you talk about the marriage between the cigar lifestyle and music. And in the Chevalier lifestyle, I always say we smoke the cigar, we sip the whiskey, we sing to the music and savor the cuisine. So it's like we use all of the senses, and music is a big one in this culture, man. You go to some lounges, it's like a club. You go to others, music is the background, and conversation is the focal point. Or sometimes, like at Chamberlain's, the music is an accompaniment with the it's a yeah, it complements the dining experience.
environment. Yeah.
It complements the environment. And so when you talk about that and you're talking about bloom, it's like it's refreshing to wonder what could you pair with that, because it would be the main focus. And having, this for me, a cigar, maybe making my content with something like that and creating something that people, without me ever saying a word, just sitting down smoking a cigar, they get a message from it in that 30 to 45 seconds or a minute. That's what I kind of visualize as you describe it. Like, how do I create that moment as I sit back and I smoke a cigar? The things around me. What is the story that I'm telling in
Hmm.
30 seconds to a minute? I think you can do a whole lot with that. I can't wait till you put it out, bro. I can't wait till you put it out.
I'll let you
So
know when I'm
let me know,
ready to
man.
let you listen to it, man.
Yeah, let me know, man. I would love to check that out. I got some ideas about some different things as I grow and what I'm doing here. I got some ideas with that. Let me ask you this, man. What are probably your biggest and I ask this question about cigars a lot, but as you look at the music industry and the future of the music industry, are you concerned? Are you just respecting everyone's creativity and ability to do things differently? You hear some people say, I don't like where music is going today. You hear others that say they respect it. You have others that, they love what it is. What's your thoughts about
I respect everyone's creativity.
it?
However, um,
I don't want to shit
I
on anybody, but if you do,
yeah, I know where you're
we just
getting
give
at.
it
I
our
don't
opinion. Yeah, we give it our
no.
opinion.
I respect everyone's creativity. I believe that it's a beautiful thing that we have the technology to be able to create the things that we can't create. Um, Personally, I love to be able to make music uh from my hands, you know, and whatever way that, however that means, but just from human, from me, from my brain,
Hmm.
and it's just authentic. Um, I the technology is amazing, and I've played around with that stuff, and like I realized that it's not for me.
Hmm.
It's cool to be able to hear that what comes from it, but like I'm a musician, so like I can make music. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. So I try not to even go too deep and think too hard about that stuff. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, I tried it. It's not for me. Other people use it. But what I was gonna say at first is it's kind of like, all right now, like when we're having conversations, we're not having a conversation if we, so we have
Yeah.
to be aware of those things. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
and that's kind of, and I'm not shitting on nobody, but it's like, I'm in this. My kids laugh at me because I have a bass in my studio, which is like right
I
behind
see it.
me,
Yeah.
and I have one in the house that's like an acoustic one that I don't have to plug up or anything, and I just
Mm.
keep it in the house. I just put it on the stand in the house to practice, like while I'm watching a movie and all this stuff, and they laugh at me because they're like, "You're always just picking up that guitar and playing," but what I'm doing is actually really learning. I'm
Mm.
putting in the time to
Right.
actually learn the instrument and that can never be replaced. We can never replace a human being playing an instrument. But
True.
with technology, it's some. I've heard some amazing stuff from Suno. you know,
Hey, look, you heard
so
my theme song. The guy
yeah.
that made it, he made. I didn't know he was doing that. I had no idea. And I've been asking different people that I knew, hey man, I know you got a band, so like some local guys around Dallas. Hey, what did it take for you to create something for me to play on my show? And one day, my buddy, who I respect him, I think he's a musician, but he made that and he sent it to me on New Year's Eve, right as the clock struck midnight this year
Oh
for
wow.
2026. I got a text from him and said, check your email. Happy New Year. And I got it. And you heard the conversation with Chevalier theme. And I was like, man, it got me because I was like, damn, however you did that, you know, but I don't play instruments. I can sing a little bit, but shoot,
Hmm.
I thought it was creative in its own. But when I look at on the mainstream thing and I think about how it can affect the artists that are out here, that's my concern. You got artists out here, like you say, I'll say it, that are paying dues and putting in the work and practicing the craft and finding new and unique ways, discovering different nuances between the drums and the bass and mixing genres and all of this, and then somebody puts the right prompt in and creates that. It,
Yeah,
it
we're not in the
yeah,
same class.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all good, but like we're not doing the same thing,
Right, right. And so to see like they talk about AI movies and things like that, and them now. I just saw on the news one day where they said, okay, we're not going to recognize those the same way we recognize. They're not going to the Oscars to win an Oscar for an AI movie.
Oh,
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? That's what they said. We're not gonna allow that. So I think with there, I'm
Wow.
entertained a lot by a lot of the music. You got the guy Nipsey Hussle who puts out those funny songs. I do whatever the fuck I want. That stuff is cool. It's cool. I think it's great for social media. But when
Yeah.
you're a music head, no.
Yeah, and you can hear it.
Yeah.
I commented on a video that I saw on, well, it's not a video, it was like a just audio of, I forget what it was. It might have been Brazilian jazz.
Mhm.
Brazilian jazz funk is what it might have been titled. I forget exactly. But after listening to it for like maybe a couple minutes, I was like, okay, this is killing, but I can tell it's AI. And I was not interested in listening anymore because it's not a human. For just me personally. It's just
Yeah.
not. It wasn't. And this is like music that like you want to hear a human improvising with. And
Right.
so I
Right.
commented. I was being funny, but I commented no musician credits. You know,
Uh,
question mark. And I get a comment, I get a reply to that like every day. They're like, no, because it's AI. Like everybody like, no, because it's AI. Everybody keeps saying that. I'm like, I already knew that. I just wanted to kind of stir something
yeah.
up. But
See if anybody's gonna say something. Well, yeah, there's some credit.
yeah,
The prompt. The prompt. He did the right prompt. He went to
prompt.
Gemini and said, "Give me a prompt for a song that sounds like this with this, that, and the other," and bam, and then they get it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think I think it's something that we've got to be responsible with. AI as a whole, we've got to be more responsible with it because um, it's been around a long time. It's not new, and
right.
you know, I've always thought of movies as being, like precursors to the future. You know, a lot of stuff that they're talking about in some of these movies, we live in it now because they've already been experimenting with it. So,
Right.
I don't want to be sitting around one day and my damn robotic vacuum cleaner jumps up and starts cooking steaks in my living room or something, or starts trying to kill me or
Right.
abusing my dog or something because it's got a personality now. I don't want
Yeah.
to I don't want to experience anything like that. But brother, let me tell you something, man. First of all, I'm not gonna keep you long, but I just want to thank you for coming on my show. Before I get you
Yeah,
to
man.
ask the last question, um, everybody that I reach out to is somebody that I just want to have a conversation with. Like I'm walking into a lounge or I'm walking into the store and I meet him and it's stuff that I want to ask him. And for a long time, man, I've just wanted to ask you the hows and the whys and maybe understand a little bit more about what your journey is and to let you know, man, there's people like me out here that love everything you're doing, man, that we love your creativity. We love the drive. It shows in the music. It shows in every part of the different songs. And man, I pray that God blesses you to continue to do this well into your 190 years of living, and that
Thank
you,
you.
you're able to continue to bless us with this music. What is the last thing you want us to know about Vandell Andrew? Did I lose you? Oh, gosh.
That's no, I'm here. That was just you hit me with a hard one.
I be trying to left hook you sometime, man.
Yeah, you got me with the left hook on that one. in all, man, it's like the way you asked the question made it seem like I have to give you like a like this one thing. But all in all, like through everything, I'm just creating. I mean, I'm creating art, right? I just want to be. It's not that I want to be known for the art, but this is my contribution to the world, and it is what it is. It's I think about. Well, my cousin, I have a cousin who plays saxophone. He started around the same time I did, and we were close in age. And he passed away in 2010.
Wow.
And one of the things, and he was only 20, 21, 22 years old at the time. But
Hmm.
one of the things I always thought about was, I dedicate part of my career to him, and being able to keep going, and like to know that, you know, he's watching in his own way, you know. And beyond that, also, I learned something at his funeral. Literally at the funeral, there were so many people that were affected or not affected, but they were impacted by him. He was a musician who taught kids in high school, and there were over 200 kids that came to play for his funeral. And
Wow.
that was at that moment when I realized that I wanted to leave something here that's going to speak that won't ever die. It immortalize you, boy.
I like
I
that.
mean,
I like
that's kind of how I think about it now. I'm creating something that I want to speak for me years to come. It doesn't have to stream a million streams. I don't care if three people listen to it because it's gonna always be here.
man. That's legacy, bro. That's legacy. You guys heard that was Vandell Andrews' song "Somehow" featuring Britt Frappier. If you're not following him, follow him on Instagram at Vandell Andrew. It's Vandell Andrew all together. Get his music. It's available on all platforms. If you're here in the Dallas area, man, he's everywhere. Let me just say that you can catch him Thursday nights at Chamberlain's at 7 p.m. Central Time, just about every week. And I think you got something coming up in the Colony real soon as well at Grandscape. Or am I wrong
Yeah, this
about that?
Wednesday actually.
Yeah. So this Wednesday, day after tomorrow, I'm probably gonna roll out there to Grandscape and check him out. It's a free concert. You come in, bring your lawn chair, sit out there, get you a drink, and sit back and enjoy the music. You can't smoke out there, but it ain't all about smoking. It's about enjoying the music and connecting with the people, man. Because no matter what we do, music, whether it's music, cigars, whatever it is you're into, is nothing without people. Connection is what it's about. And in the cigar lifestyle, you have Chevalier Unity. We smoke the cigar, sip the whiskey, sing to the music, savor the cuisine. But we also have the one thing in common. That's our love for cigars. And hopefully, I've introduced you guys to one of my heroes in the music game, one of the guys
Oh man,
that
appreciate
music drives me from the inside and makes me smile from the inside out, man. I salute you, my brother. And I thank you
it.
so much for coming on and being my guest. It has been a true honor, man. And hopefully we'll keep in touch. We're right here in the same city, so I'll make sure we do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Man, anytime you want to release something, you feel like you want to bring Bloom out there, you can always do it on conversations. Right.
I got you. I got
All right,
you.
my brother. But this has been Conversations with Chevalier with my guest, Vandell Andrew. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned. In 2 weeks, I'll be back with another interesting guest. I'm not going to tell y'all who yet, but we'll be back for another conversation over cigars. Thank you, my brother, for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, anytime, man. Take care.
All right, you too.